first graders, it's Mrs. Seaton. Welcome to Content Time. Last week, we talked about past and present. So we looked at pictures from the past and compared them to things that we have now or things that we do now in the present. So this week, we're going to think about how we can put pictures from the past all the way up to pictures from the present in order. So whenever we do that, those are called timelines. So this week, we're going to learn about timelines. Let's start with a picture from the past. So last week, I showed you this picture of a wagon, and we talked about this was how people in the past got around and could go to different places. But we don't use wagons anymore, so that means that things have changed. There are different ways that we can get around. So let's look at how a car has changed. If you look at the pictures on the bottom of the screen, I bet you could put those in order. Which one of those cars do you think was made first, second, third, and fourth? I'm going to give you a second to think about it, and then we'll see if you did it right. Okay, let's check. So the first car that was invented only had 3 wheels, and then the cars have changed to look like the cars that we use now in the present. So this is a timeline. Notice how it looks just like a number line, but instead of there being numbers under the lines, there are pictures of how things have changed from the past to the present. Something else that we can add to our timeline is a title. So this is the timeline of the car, how the car has changed from the past to the present. We can also have the years. So the first car was invented in 1886. And then in 1920, the next picture of the car was made. In 1970, that red car was made, and in 2000, that car was made. So there are lots of other pictures of how cars have changed in between, but these are just the 4 that I picked for us to put in order. So whenever we think about timelines, what is a timeline? A timeline tells a story. It is a calendar of events that are recorded in the order of when they happened. It is a tool that helps us to know when important events have happened. So if we looked at the timeline from the car, we know that in 1886, let's go back. In 1886, the first car was invented. So this timeline helps us know the important events that happened when people were making cars. When do we use a timeline? To show the events of a person's life, to show important events in history, or to sequence things that have happened. So that's what our car timeline did. Sequence just means to put things in order. So we put the cars in order from the first one that was made to the last one that was made. So let's check out some examples. Here is a timeline that shows us people that explored places around the world. So this timeline goes from the bottom all the way up to the top. So in 1492, Columbus reaches the New World. Then in 1498, Da Gama reaches India. In 1520, Magellan reaches the Strait. And in 1580, Drake completes a round the world voyage. So this timeline is all about people exploring places around the world. Here's a timeline about Dr. Seuss's life. He was born in 1904. He went to college in 1922. Whenever he got a job, his first job was making cartoon ads. And then he wrote his first book in 1937. Did you know his first book was And to Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street? I always thought his first book was Cat in the Hat. But he didn't write Cat in the Hat until 1956. And then he made his first movie in 1966, which was When the Grinch Stole Christmas. And then in 1991, he died. So this timeline shows us the important events from Dr. Seuss's life. Let's go back to look at these two timelines. So the first one with the explorer, there are words that tell us what is happening in each year. Dr. Seuss's timeline has words that happened in each year, but we could also add pictures to our timeline. So this person made a timeline of their life. So they drew a picture and then they wrote about it. So their timeline shows about what happened from the time they were born all the way to the present, to today. Here's another example of a timeline of someone's life. So they have words, and then in some places they added pictures. So now it's your turn to try making a timeline. So here's a picture, or here's a timeline of Jack's life. So if we look at this picture right here, we can see that he was born on May 2nd, 2007. So you have to look at the other pictures right down here at the bottom and see which ones go in with his timeline. So it's going to try and trick you because some of the pictures don't go in Jack's timeline. The only places that you have to add pictures are right here where the bubbles are. So you'll add a picture under the bubble and then you will write the year that it happened. So I'm going to show you how you could do this if you don't have a piece of paper. All right, friends, so if you don't have a printer at your house like I don't, you can do this on a piece of paper or on a dry erase board. So first you need to draw your line, your timeline, and remember it looks just like a number line. And then Jack had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. So the first one is the spot that we need to fill in. Then the next one was 2008. And then there's a bubble, so we have to fill that one in. And then 2010, 2011, and then the last two are bubbles. So they already put the picture for us on this first one. Jack is born. So if I look at the picture, it says May 2nd, 2007. So all I have to write is the year 2007. And I'm going to write on my paper what they have on their paper. So May 2nd, 2007, Jack is born. Okay, so now all you have to do is fill in the bubble that is right here and put a picture under it, and fill in the bubbles at the end and put pictures under them. So you have 1, 2, 3 bubbles to fill in. So that means you also have 3 pictures to put. So there are more than 3 pictures. So make sure that when you are looking at the pictures that you just look at the ones that are part of Jack's life and put them in his timeline. All right, friends, have a good rest of your day, and I hope everyone does well making their timeline.